Hi, I'm Bill. Let me ask you a simple question. How many hours of sleep did you get last night? If you said less than 7, I want you to pay close attention to what I'm about to tell you because it connects directly to your testosterone levels, your sexual energy, and your ability to achieve and maintain an erection. And for most men, they have never made this connection. Here's something that genuinely surprised me when I first discovered it. The majority of your daily testosterone production does not happen during the day. It happens at night while you are sleeping. Your body produces testosterone in pulses throughout the night, with the largest and most significant pulse occurring during the deeper stages of sleep. By the time you wake up, most of your testosterone for the day has already been produced, or it hasn't, depending on how well and how long you slept. Now, here's where it gets very specific and very real. In 2011, researchers at the University of Chicago published a study in the Journal of the American Medical Association that I think every man should know about. They took a group of young, healthy men. Average age was around 24. They had no health issues, no hormonal problems, and they restricted their sleep to 5 hours per night, and they did it for 1 week. 1 week. And at the end of that week, they measured the men's testosterone levels. The result was a reduction of 10 to 15%. That's just after 1 week of poor sleep. In healthy men, 10 to 15% less testosterone. Now, I want you to think about what that means for a man in his 40s, 50s, or 60s who has been running on 5 or 6 hours of sleep for years. Not just 1 week, for years. The cumulative effect of chronic sleep deprivation on testosterone levels, that's not just a minor inconvenience. It is a significant and sustained suppression of the very hormone most directly responsible for your sex drive, your energy, and your sexual function. And it doesn't stop there. When you sleep deprived, your body elevates cortisol. That's your primary stress hormone. Cortisol and testosterone, they have an inverse relationship in your body. When your cortisol goes up, your testosterone goes down. Your body is essentially deciding that surviving the stress of exhaustion, that's going to take precedence over your sexual functions. Poor sleep also disrupts the REM stage of sleep. That's where the nocturnal erections occur. These nighttime erections, which most men experience without ever being aware of them, they're not random. They are your body's way of oxygenating the penile tissue and maintaining the health of the vascular structures that produce erections. When REM sleep is disrupted, these maintenance erections, they don't occur as they should. And over time, the tissue health of your penis itself can be affected. This is also why that morning erection, the natural erection that men notice when they wake up, that's actually a sign of health. It means your testosterone production overnight was adequate and your REM sleep was functioning correctly. But when your morning erections start to disappear or become less frequent, your body is telling you something about your sleep and your hormonal health. I want to share something personal here. For most of my adult life while I was working, I wore sleep deprivation as a badge of honor. I worked late. I got up early. I told myself that successful men, they didn't need much sleep. What I didn't understand is that every night that I was cutting short, it was also a night that I was reducing my testosterone production and elevating my cortisol and gradually depleting the foundational energy reserve that TCM calls your kidney gene. In traditional Chinese medicine, the kidneys are called the root of life. They store your sexual essence and govern your reproductive vitality, and they are replenished during rest. The TCM principle that the kidneys are nourished by adequate sleep and depleted by overwork and insufficient rest, it's not a poetic metaphor. It is a clinical observation that modern endocrinology is now confirming in precise, measurable terms. I wasn't just tired, I was depleting my body's most fundamental sexual energy reserve, night after night, year after year. And I didn't know it until the consequences became just impossible to ignore. So let me give you something practical. The research is clear. 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night is what your body needs to produce adequate testosterone, maintain healthy cortisol balance, and support the nocturnal process that keeps your sexual function healthy. Yeah, I know that for many men, that number seems impossible. The demands of work, family, and life, they feel like you have no room for that 8 hours. But here's the reframe that I think you should consider. Sleep is not a luxury you earn after you've done everything else. Sleep is the physiological process through which your body produces the hormone that governs your drive, your vitality, and your sexual function. Cutting it short is not discipline, it's self-depletion. Every hour of sleep that you sacrifice is an hour of testosterone production that you're just foregoing. Every night of insufficient rest is another deposit withdrawn from your kidney energy reserve that your sexual vitality depends on. Here are a few things that make a real difference to your sleep quality. Consistent sleep and wake-up times. Your body produces hormones on a circadian rhythm. When your sleep schedule is erratic, that rhythm is disrupted and hormone production suffers. Going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, and that includes weekends. That is one of the most effective things that you can do for testosterone production. A cool, dark room. Testosterone production during sleep is sensitive to light and temperature. A dark, cool room supports the deeper sleep stages where the most significant testosterone pulses, that's where they occur. Limiting alcohol in the evening. Alcohol disrupts your sleep architecture, specifically your REM sleep, even if it initially helps you fall asleep. The sleep you get after drinking is less restorative and produces less testosterone than sober sleep. And if you snore significantly, or you've been told you stop breathing during sleep, please talk to your doctor about sleep apnea. Research that was published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine has documented a significant association between obstructive sleep apnea and erectile dysfunction. It is a treatable condition, and addressing it can make a dramatic difference to both your sleep quality and your sexual health. I want to close with something that I think reframes how you look at sleep going forward. Sleep is not the absence of productivity. Sleep is when your body does the work that no amount of effort during the day can replicate. It's when testosterone is produced. It's when tissue is repaired. And it's when the kidney energy reserve that TCM identifies as the foundation of your sexual vitality, that's where it's restored. The most powerful thing that many men can do for their sexual health, it's not a new supplement, it's not a new exercise. It's going to bed an hour earlier. The full program I teach covers the complete system for restoring sexual vitality from the inside out. But sleep is one of the foundations that everything else builds on. Without it, nothing else works as well as it should. The link to the full program, it's in the description down below. And if this opened your eyes to something that you hadn't connected before, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. You are not broken. You may just be depleted. And depletion, that can be restored.